I give you a new commandment, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also should love one another. It's clear. It's concise. Gets right to the point. What part of this text do we not understand? It's clear. Christians are people who love other people. It's clear. So I only have one question. How is that new? How is it new? Because if we would read Leviticus 19, we would read these words. You shall not take vengeance or bear any grudge against the sons of your own people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. This text from Leviticus was written 2,000 years prior to Jesus' claim in John's Gospel of a new commandment. So I ask you again, how is loving each other new? The answer, I think, is in the next phrase that Jesus says, as I have loved you. Folks, it's really, really, really important to know that in the original Greek, there are 4 words for love. There is storge, affection, deep affection, family love, the kind of love that a family shares with one another, the parents share with the children. There is philia, friendship, brotherly love. It's, of course, where we get that word Philadelphia. There's eros, erotic love, sensual love, the kind of love that a man has for a woman. And there is agape love, self-giving, cross-bearing love, the kind of love that shares itself no matter the circumstances. It's really important to know that the word love occurs 4 times in today's text, and every single one of them is the Greek word agape. God is calling us to love each other the way God has loved us. And how has God loved us? By climbing up on a cross and laying down God's life for you and for me and for every last person in this room. And folks, that's new. Nobody's ever done that before. And you know the real specialness about this thing? It's when we share agape love with somebody, the world encounters the risen Christ as if He's still here. Love one another as I've loved you. Every now and then we hear stories about that kind of love. Fred Craddock will tell you this story. There was a man, a missionary in China, I believe, whose name was Oswald Goldher. For 30 years, a missionary in China. And then the communists put him in slaves, put him under house arrest, and for 3 years, Oswald Goldher was held captive in China. Finally, they decided to let him go if he promised that he would never come back, and so he wrote the mission board and asked for a ticket home. 3 years. On his way home, he went by India, a coastal city in India, and he learned that there were some Jews staying in barn lofts because in those days, no country would allow Jew into their country. So here are these Jews in barn lofts, and it's Christmas time. And this man, Oswald Goldter, goes to these Jews and says, "Merry Christmas!" And they said, "We're Jewish." "Well, Merry Christmas!" "Well, we're Jewish." "Well, if somebody gave you something for Christmas, what would it be?" "Well, we're Jewish." "Well, if someone gave you something, can you think of something that you would like for Christmas?" And they thought, and they said, "Well, we would like some German pastry." So Oswald Goldter sold his ticket home. Sold his ticket home, scoured the city, and came up with German pastries to give these Jews at Christmas time. Years later, he was at a seminary telling this story, and at the Q&A session after the story, one of the seminary students stood up and said, "Excuse me, sir, I have a question. Why did you do it?" They didn't believe in Jesus. And Oswald Goldter looked out into the crowd and he stared at them and he said, "Yeah, I know, but I do. I do." Love one another as I have loved you. Climb up on a cross. Sell your ticket home. Give away your life for somebody else. I'm taking a poll this morning. Very difficult questions. How many of you today could name the 5 wealthiest people in the world? Now forget Walter for a moment. How many of you could name the 5 wealthiest people in the world? Let me try it again. How many of you could name the 5 last winners of Best Actor? Let me try it one more time. How many of you could figure out for me and name the 5 last winners of the Kentucky Derby? Nobody? Then let me try this. Can you name 5 friends who have helped you through a difficult time? Can you name 3 teachers who taught you the joy of learning? Can you name an angel in your life? The most powerful force in this world is not money or fame or success. It's love. Agape love. The kind of love that climbs up on a cross and sells a ticket home for somebody else. Love one another as He has already loved you.